This deep into the match, Bianca
not with a bad rib.
No way. No way.
Trying to lift pipe.
Naomi reacts to controversial former WWE star's personal update. WWE superstar Naomi reacted to a popular AEW star's personal update today on social media. The veteran is currently one half of the women's tag team champions alongside Bianca Belair. Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks in WWE, celebrated her 33rd birthday today. Moné and Naomi used to be the women's tag team champions, but the duo controversially walked out of the company together while holding gold in 2022. Naomi made her return during the Women's Royal Rumble match last year, and Moné is the reigning TBS champion in All Elite Wrestling. Mercedes Moné shared a personal update today on X, FKA Twitter, on her 33rd birthday, along with several selfies. The 37-year-old WWE superstar reacted to her former tag team partner's update with a teary-eyed emoji, as seen in the post below. The Raw general manager Adam Pearce announced earlier today that the veteran and Belair will be squaring off against the Judgment Day's Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez tomorrow night on the Red brand. The women's tag team champions are also set to defend the titles against Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson on this Tuesday's episode of NXT. Naomi replaced an absent WWE star in a popular tag team. Naomi replaced Jade Cargill in the tag team with Bianca Belair on WWE television. Jade Cargill has not been seen since she was the victim of a brutal attack on the November 22, 2024 edition of SmackDown. The former AEW star was attacked by a mystery assailant and appeared to have been slammed on top of a car in the parking lot. The attack occurred while Bianca Belair was battling Chelsea Green in the Women's United States Championship tournament on SmackDown. The EST rushed backstage to check on her tag team partner, eliminating herself from the tournament. SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis has launched an investigation to find the culprit, but has had no luck thus far. The former TNA star battled Nia Jax for the Women's Championship on the January 3, 2025 episode of SmackDown, but came up short. However, Tiffany Stratton cashed in her Money in the Bank contract on Jax following the match and captured the title. Naomi is upset following SmackDown. Calls 40-year-old star disrespectful. This week's episode of SmackDown, the go-home show before Saturday night's main event, was quite eventful. It was extra eventful for Naomi, who wrestled earlier in the show before she was heavily referenced in the main event. Her husband, Jimmy USO, picked a fight with Kevin Owens on SmackDown. This led to a main event match between the two. KO, ever the troll, decided to wear a Naomi T-shirt to the ring for his match with Big Jim. This has caused quite the buzz online as Owens defeated USO. The WWE Women's Tag Team Champion herself tweeted a strong message at Kevin Owens. She wasn't happy with this behavior, letting everyone know how she felt. Naomi even responded to USA Network's post about the gesture. Their official X/Twitter handle strongly suggested KO's actions were disrespectful, and she agreed with them. Naomi replied to USA Network's tweet by adding to their claim that Owens was disrespectful. As mentioned earlier, the real-life Bloodline member was in action on SmackDown. She teamed with Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley in a losing effort against Nia Jax, Candice LeRae, and Liv Morgan. Naomi will hope her luck changes next weekend, as she looks to win the Women's Royal Rumble for the first time in her career. As mentioned earlier, the real-life Bloodline member was in action on SmackDown. She teamed with Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley in a losing effort against Nia Jax, Candice LeRae, and Liv Morgan. Naomi will hope her luck changes next weekend, as she looks to win the Women's Royal Rumble for the first time in her career. Naomi was quick to respond to a male WWE superstar taking a shot at her in the main event of SmackDown tonight. The star both wore her merchandise and used her "Feel the Glow" line. Naomi responds to male WWE superstar taking a shot at her in the main event of SmackDown. The main event of SmackDown this week saw Naomi's husband Jimmy USO take on Kevin Owens in what was just their fourth singles match in the last 10 years. KO would, of course, come out victorious in the end, but he took some shots at the former SmackDown Women's Champion too. First, he came out for the main event bout wearing a piece of merchandise from Naomi, an obvious shot at her husband Jimmy USO. Secondly, he said, "Feel the glow" during the match to signal a shot at her. The women's tag team champion responded by calling KO messy and encouraged Jimmy to beat him up. Unfortunately for her, she couldn't watch her husband pick up the W on SmackDown. He was even subject to a post-match attack until Cody Rhodes came out to make the save. As for the tag team champions, both she and Bianca Belair declared their entry into the Women's Royal Rumble match this year. This was followed up with them pairing with Rhea Ripley in a losing effort to Nia Jax, Candice LeRae, and Liv Morgan. Nia Jax versus Naomi receives massive praise from WWE legend. Nia Jax may not be WWE Women's Champion anymore, but her final successful title defense on SmackDown this past Friday received massive praise from Mark Henry. The Hall of Famer put over the irresistible force in her opponent Naomi for putting on a show, and everything that transpired post-match. The bout that was heavily promoted heading into the show was Nia Jax versus Naomi for the Women's Championship, but it was not the main event. According to Henry, this is the reason why WWE was able to surprise everybody with the cash-in on the first episode of SmackDown in the new year. Tiffany Stratton finally cashed in her Money in the Bank contract to become the new champion right after Jax had successfully retained over the Glow. Speaking on Busted Open, Mark Henry praised Nia Jax for her performance. Although she may have been deemed someone difficult to work with, she had earned her place on the roster as a hard worker. Henry also praised the other women who were part of the angle: Bianca Belair, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. They should be D***** proud. I hope they get a bump and pay a raise. You work for the reward and the pride because you want to be good at what you do. But D*****nit. When you do something that exceeds the expectation, you should be paid like you exceeded the expectation, Mark Henry said. From 1827 to 1852. Mark Henry also noted that Tiffany Stratton will now need a muscle after swerving both Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Henry and co-host Denise Salcedo had a few names in mind, too. Mark Henry says WWE can bring in TNA's Jordynne Grace as Tiffany Stratton's muscle, like her counterpart on WWE Raw, Liv Morgan, who has Raquel Rodriguez as her muscle. Tiffany Stratton would need someone who was believable. Noted Mark Henry that he brought up TNA's Jordynne Grace, who made her WWE debut last year at the Royal Rumble and made a few more appearances for the Stanford-based promotion. Henry added that because of the relationship both companies have, it would not be out of the question. Mark Henry also agreed with co-host Denise Salcedo that NXT Zarya was ready to move to the main roster and take on that role. It remains to be seen if the buff Barbie forms an alliance with someone in the coming weeks. WWE superstar Naomi recently broke her silence after winning the Women's Tag Team Championship alongside Bianca Belair. The real-life Bloodline star also sent a message to Jade Cargill following their massive win. Naomi and Bianca Belair gave an interview on SmackDown Low.